I I enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed this episode for what it was. Um, I don't even know where to begin. But before I actually begin, hey guys, welcome to today's video. In today's video, we will be talking about Daredevil Born Again, episode 3. It is the White Tiger episode, and unfortunately, it is the last White Tiger episode we will ever get. If you saw the entire episode in its entirety, I guess you'll know why I say that. Um, like, share, subscribe, do all of that stuff. Guys, I don't know. I don't know how to feel. This entire episode had some shocking turns. This episode feels like what the show was originally meant to be, a courtroom drama. It was good to see Matt in his element. The beginning of the episode where we see him visiting Hector Ayala, and they're just, he's talking about his hometown and, comparing how the prison cell kind of feels to, one of the beaches on his hometown. Hearing him describe that was wonderful. Kemar Del Reyes, he was a phenomenal actor. God rest his soul. As you all may know, even if you don't, we lost him to cancer right after filming this back in December of 2023. So this was this was his last performance. I can't even say one of. This was his last performance. Like I said before, I've known the actor from his time on All American a few seasons ago. So I was already familiar with him. I was familiar with his work, and to see him portray the White Tiger, a character that people have been asking for in the MCU for a very long time. That was really cool to see. Um, Guys, his trial was heartbreaking. Um, Seeing Matt interact with Officer Powell again in the bathroom, like making the jokes or whatever, like that was crazy. But Powell knew that he couldn't really out him because he'd out himself for coming after the CI, which was crazy. We also see some like Fisk. The stuff with Fisk, it was very light in this episode. This was a very Fisk light episode, if you get what I mean. We see a truck we see a truck robbery, armed truck robbery. What am I talking about? A armed truck robbery at the harbor, at the port. And when this information is brought, to Fisk as he's having breakfast with Vanessa, he's basically like, we're not going to worry about it. We'll let them, handle themselves. Vanessa says it's because there's nobody in charge. There's nobody at the head. And Fisk is like, let the competition take each other out. We're not focusing on that right now. And I get that Fisk is trying to uphold his, good guy, I'm the good guy now, this whole facade, this persona he's trying to put on. I don't buy it at all. He's gonna snap at one point. We all see the cracks in this persona towards the end of this episode. I think he's the one who hired a person that shall not be named at this point in the review. I think he hired him to do what happened at the end of the episode. Throughout the episode we see the BB report, so I'm glad we're seeing that more and more and more. I hope we get more of BB. We've had little small snippets of her here and there, but I hope we see her more. She is a very interesting character that I would like to dive into more. Ben Urich was a great addition to the season one of the original show before he was unfortunately murdered. So yeah, I would love to see her come back into the show as the show continues on. So like I said, Officer Powell approaches Matt in the bathroom. They have words at the same time. We see Cherry, PI Cherry, the retired police officer, the new Foggy-esque figure in this new trio that's a part of this show. We see him walking past a Punisher symbol, and he's going to a safe house. He brings the drugs to the guy, to Nikki Torres. That's the CI's name. He brings drugs to the guy so he could just, be able to function. But what happens when he gets on the stand? He folds. They obviously they got to him. He was scared for his life. And I can understand that to an extent, but like, you just think this case and you left Matt with no other choice but to literally reveal Hector's secret identity. And when that happened, I literally jumped up off my couch. I was shocked the fact that Matt could do that. Like, Matt, how would you feel if somebody outed your identity as Daredevil? That was crazy to see. Honestly, that was very crazy to see. I was not expecting that. I didn't expect Matt to do something like that. Like that was strike one for me. That like that honestly that pissed me off. Like I cannot even lie. That made me very very angry. It's just something about revealing people's identities, taking that power away from them. That's crazy to me. But in the end, it kind of worked in their favor because we get witness testimonials about how White Tiger has saved them, yada yada yada. I just love how when Matt mentioned that the medallion gives him his power, like that didn't phase anybody, uh, because they're used to living in this world full of fantastical heroes and super soldiers and all of that good stuff. So tells Hector that you can't go out as White Tiger after this, yada yada yada. But what does Hector do after he has been proven innocent? He goes out as White Tiger, and when he goes out as White Tiger, what happens? He gets a bullet in the head by a hooded figure, and when the hooded figure walks into frame, well, it has the Punisher skull. We're led to believe it's the Punisher. We are led to believe that the Punisher has killed Hector Ayala. We're led to believe the Punisher has killed the White Tiger. White Tiger is this great hero. I don't know how you didn't hear that guy coming up behind you. I'll chalk that up to shock value, but to me, that was dumb. That pissed me off. We didn't even get to see the man in action. And that kind of sours the grapes now because the actor unfortunately did pass away. I did not like that. After a wonderful episode like this, although I get the TV tropes. I saw this, I knew something was gonna happen to him, especially the fact that they introduced us to his niece. We get to see his niece for the first time. They don't name drop her, they just say, like that's his niece, and we know his niece does inherit the White Tiger mantle eventually. She does look kind of young, so I don't see that happening this season. Maybe next season, maybe in another film down the line. I don't know. But we do get to see her. We see the actors that's portraying her. I don't know the actress's name, but just to for them to do that after the heartbreaking story of why he was even out there that night. um he even name drops Nikki Torres, which sends the court in a frenzy because they're like, oh my god, the witness's name, yada yada yada, that means the cops were lying, yada yada yada. I get that. This was a wonderful courtroom drama episode. It's just the way that they handled that character, just for shock value, it seems, that kind of pissed me off just a little bit, guys. Like I said, I don't really know how to react to this episode. If I were to rate this episode, it's not bad. It's not bad at all, but it's just I would have went about it a different way. Like I don't even want to give this a numerical rating because I don't think it would be fair. But I mean, Daredevil Born Again continues with the shock value of killing off characters and like characters that you just didn't expect to die so soon. Um, I enjoyed it for what it was. Would it be my favorite episode? No. Like if we get to the end of the season, this will probably be at the bottom for me just because of how they handled it. But I will say, Hector's story in this episode, that hit me in the heart, hit me right here. His acting, Kamar's acting, his portrayal of this character is goated. It's goated. He did a wonderful job. Line deliveries, everything was phenomenal. I love courtroom dramas. I love procedural dramas. So the way that they structured this episode was great. To hear what Fisk was saying towards the end of the episode to PB about the justice system being flawed and it failing, and you can't really count on courts and juries and whatnot because they get it wrong. And like he basically put his hands on, like, look at me, like, no, they didn't get it wrong about you. You're just nuts and you think you're right. To hear Matt talking to Heather about Foggy and like saying like it still hurts, yada yada yada. That was good writing. I liked that. I liked that character progression for them as well. To see Cherry outsmart Powell, that was hilarious. They got the witness there. He was just a dick about it and did not help them at all. Tank their entire case almost. But at the end of the day, justice was served. Hector was proven innocent. He just could not enjoy the spoils, if you will, of being free. He didn't get to go grab that apartment with his wife that he had paid for and was going to surprise her with. So that's very very sad. I wonder if we're going to revisit his widow next week and maybe we see the niece again as well. I don't know, but guys, let me know what you thought about this episode down below. Are we finally going to see Frank back again? Is Frank going to have a reason for why he did what he did, if he's the one that did it? Or is this another one of those cops trying to frame the Punisher? Because we see the Punisher tattoo and like basically the insignia almost everywhere in this episode, even on a cop in the courtroom. So, I mean, let me know what you thought about this down below in the comment section. Guys, I'll be having I'll be posting content all week, so stay tuned. Working on my Henry Danger video right after this. And guys, like I said, comment section. Let's talk about this episode, and I will catch you all next time.